He called himself Thanos. The DEA called him a target. Lured by an informant named Queen, trapped by an undercover at a sunny California restaurant, and tracked by GPS all the way to Sydney, Opinder Singh Sian's global pipeline snapped shut in a single sting. Opinder Singh Sian is currently being held in custody in the state of Nevada, facing serious charges linked to an elaborate scheme to transport an enormous shipment of methamphetamine into Australia. The operation, which authorities have described as both meticulously planned and highly dangerous, came to light only after months of covert surveillance and intelligence gathering. Sian, who believed he was negotiating with a seasoned criminal who had access to a major shipping port in California, was in fact dealing directly with an undercover agent from the United States Drug Enforcement Agency. This agent, who skillfully assumed the role of a well-connected underworld figure, managed to gain Sian's trust and orchestrate a sting operation that ultimately exposed the criminal plot in full detail. Evidence presented by the DEA paints a picture of Sian as a man deeply immersed in the world of transnational organized crime. During confidential conversations with the undercover agent, he allegedly boasted about his associations with various powerful criminal groups. He claimed to be working alongside Irish organized crime networks, specifically the infamous Kinahan family, as well as with Italian mafia syndicates and a range of Canadian criminal organizations. Such statements, combined with his history of underworld connections, have only reinforced the image of Sian as a man operating at the intersection of several dangerous criminal empires. Investigations by journalists have revealed that Sian's ties to organized crime are not recent developments, but part of a long and troubling history. The Sunday World has reported that Sian has for years maintained close links with both Canadian and Mexican criminal factions. He is widely known by the nickname Thanos, a reference to the notorious villain from the Marvel's Avengers series, a moniker that speaks volumes about his fearsome reputation in the criminal world. Law enforcement sources have identified him as a key associate of the Brothers Keepers Gang, a violent and influential organization based in British Columbia, a province located on the western coast of Canada. The Brothers Keepers Gang has, in recent years, emerged as one of the most prominent and ruthless organized crime groups operating in the country. Their reach and influence extend far beyond Canada's borders, as they are widely believed to serve as a major Canadian proxy for the infamous Sinaloa cartel in Mexico. The gang's operations revolve primarily around large-scale drug trafficking, a trade that has not only fueled violent conflicts, but has also drawn the attention of multiple international law enforcement agencies. In addition to their dealings with the Mexican cartel, the Brothers Keepers are reported to have connections with other powerful and fearsome organizations, including the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club and the Wolfpack biker gangs, both of which have long histories of criminal activity and violent confrontations. Although Sian has never been formally recognized as a full member of the Brothers Keepers, investigators suspect that he acted as an independent broker for the gang, arranging deals and smoothing connections between different criminal groups. His name frequently surfaced during police investigations, and according to reports in the Vancouver Sun, he was often found in the company of known gang members. On numerous occasions, Canadian police stopped vehicles in which Sian was traveling alongside other gangsters, a pattern that left little doubt about the nature of his associations. His criminal record stretches back many years, including convictions for the careless use of a firearm and for obstructing a peace officer, both dating back to 2007. Sian's troubled past has not been confined to his dealings with the law. In 2015, he faced public embarrassment and personal disappointment when his attempt to bring a woman from India to marry him was rejected by the Canadian Immigration Appeal Board. Officials determined that the proposed marriage was a sham, designed for convenience rather than love. In their ruling, the board emphasized that the woman had been unaware of Sian's extensive criminal background, his past involvement in gang-related violence, and even the fact that he had previously survived an attempted assassination. The panel noted that such information would be expected to be openly shared between two people entering a genuine, committed relationship, but in this case, the deception was too great to ignore. Sian's life has been marked by violence and danger. In 2008, he was seriously injured during a shooting incident that claimed the life of his friend Gurpreet Sidhu, a tragedy that underscored the risks inherent in his lifestyle. Just a few years later, in 2011, he narrowly survived another attempt on his life, further highlighting the ongoing threats that have surrounded him for much of his adult life. These incidents have added layers of notoriety to his name, making him a figure both feared and closely watched within the underworld and by law enforcement alike. Vancouver has long been regarded as a crucial hub for global criminal enterprises, but in the words of Scott McGregor, a former military intelligence operator, it now stands as the true center of gravity for hybrid warfare waged by transnational organized crime in all of North America. His observation, shared with Global News in the aftermath of Opinder Singh Sian's arrest, paints a striking image of a city whose gleaming skyline and bustling ports conceal a far darker underworld. One of McGregor's colleagues in Washington, D.C., even remarked that the city's criminal landscape was like a unique blend of the opulence and secrecy of Dubai mixed with the reckless decadence of Miami, a comparison that speaks volumes about both the wealth and danger pulsing beneath Vancouver's surface. Sian's arrest, which took place in the arid and sun-scorched state of Nevada, marked the culmination of a complex 3-year investigation conducted by the United States Drug Enforcement Agency. The operation was anything but straightforward. It began quietly in June of 2022, when DEA operatives, working with international partners, successfully recruited a key informant in Turkey. This individual, known only by the codename Queen, would become the linchpin of the entire sting. Queen's task was to infiltrate Sian's network by carefully earning his trust, a dangerous and delicate process that required meticulous planning and an unwavering sense of composure. Sian, who was already suspected of orchestrating the movement of massive quantities of narcotics through strategic ports scattered across the globe, eventually took the bait. Through calculated interactions, Queen managed to build a relationship with him, portraying herself as someone who could open doors to valuable trafficking routes. Once this trust had been firmly established, Queen set the stage for the next phase by introducing Sian to an undercover DEA agent. This agent, posing as a resourceful and well-connected criminal, offered Sian what seemed like an irresistible opportunity, a reliable channel to move vast drug shipments through the port of Long Beach in Southern California, one of the busiest and most heavily trafficked ports in the United States. In March of 2023, after months of cautious communication and negotiation, Queen, Sian, and the undercover agent finally met in person. The meeting took place at a restaurant in Manhattan Beach, a coastal city in California where the sunlit boardwalks and lively atmosphere served as a perfect cover for their clandestine discussions. Behind the clinking glasses and casual smiles of nearby diners, the trio struck a dangerous deal to traffic a large consignment of methamphetamine to Australia, a lucrative destination for the drug trade due to its high street value and relatively limited supply. Yet Sian did not realize that every step of this supposed transaction was being choreographed by the DEA. Instead of allowing the narcotics to pass through undetected, the agency executed an elaborate counter-operation. In Pomona, California, agents established a controlled safe house, where they intercepted the original shipment organized by Sian's network. The genuine methamphetamine was discreetly seized and replaced with a carefully staged decoy shipment designed to appear authentic. This fake cargo was then shipped to Australia under close surveillance, allowing law enforcement to track every move of the smugglers without risking a flood of dangerous drugs entering the market. To ensure total control, the DEA coordinated with Australian authorities, equipping the container with GPS tracking technology. When the shipment reached Sydney, local police followed its path to what they believed to be a stash house used by the network. This joint operation not only prevented the drugs from reaching the streets, but also exposed the intricate communications system used by the traffickers. Investigators uncovered that members of the network relied on multiple false identities and encrypted communication apps to coordinate their activities, stretching their operations from the desert heat of Dubai to the bustling streets of Istanbul. News of Sian's arrest has reverberated far beyond North America, especially in India, where authorities have accused him of maintaining connections with covert Pakistani security operatives who collaborate with rogue Chinese suppliers. These suppliers, operating in the shadows, are believed to funnel synthetic opioids into the international drug trade, exploiting Canada's relatively lenient legal and political framework. Indian news channel News 18 described Sian as a critical intermediary between these Pakistani agents and Chinese suppliers, essentially functioning as a bridge for the distribution of illicit substances. Their report also revealed that Indian intelligence agencies have identified around 40 Indo-Canadians believed to be actively supporting this network's operations in regions such as Punjab, Delhi, and Kashmir. In addition, Indian sources have pointed to the notorious Kinahan cartel as playing a significant role in laundering the vast sums of money generated by Canadian drug trafficking activities. Last month, during a tense court appearance, a judge in Nevada ruled that Sian must remain in custody until his transfer to California is completed. The judge emphasized the severity of the allegations, noting that Sian's criminal organization is suspected of maintaining connections to international contract killers, a claim that further underscores the dangerous reach of his network. For now, none of the other individuals named in the official affidavit have been formally charged, but the investigation remains active, and authorities believe this high-profile arrest may be just the beginning of a much larger crackdown on an expansive web of organized crime.